Now, it's a new month, so we are starting a brand new series, and many of you got engaged over the Christmas or Valentine's period and are now turning your attention to your big day.
So we're beginning the series with the most important centrepiece for the meal, according to lots of people, the wedding cake. Laura Cunningham, editor of Confetti Magazine, joins us. Good morning, Laura.
Hello.
Can hardly see you behind all these beautiful creations. Now, we've got a lot of cakes to get through, so before we get stuck in, can you just tell us about the fillings inside these cakes? Is there trends for 2017, or does the traditional chocolate biscuit cake reign supreme?
There are. Well, chocolate biscuit cake and your kind of traditional sponge are always going to be the main ones. Fruit, not so much anymore.
Gorgeous.
You might do one tier for people who like fruit. But they've kind of gotten a lot more adventurous now. So we have like matcha here, or Guinness and Bailey's.
Guinness and
you
Bailey's
can have whatever you want
cake.
now. Yeah.
Yum.
So
Well, look,
we'll
we'll start on the first cake, and it's the fondant cake. So talk us through this one.
So this one here is a fondant cake. I suppose this is the basis for the majority of cakes, and it's basically firm sugar icing rolled out over it, and you can do whatever you want from there. And there's a variety of embellishments and all sorts of stuff you can do with it from there.
Very pretty, and I suppose you can add your own touch to it, which is really important, isn't it?
Now, if you obviously want to go a bit more left field and you're a bit more adventurous when it comes to your wedding cake, this could be the one for you. This has got popcorn, sticky popcorn, and macaroons on top. I actually love this.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? These are both by Kelly Lou Cakes. So this one is actually, that's another trend for this year, this drip cake effect.
Okay.
But this is a soft frosting, as you can see. So if I was to dip my hand in this now, which I'm tempted to do, it would, you know, it's squishy.
Okay.
And this is a lot more kind of contemporary, I suppose, but it just depends on what you want. So this is kind of more classic, and this is a bit more what we're going for this year.
And I suppose if you decide on a cake like this, care of the cake prior to the wedding day is key, because this one, because the fondant's hard versus the soft frosting.
Yeah. Also, if you're making a big cake, this is going to keep your cake fresher for longer. So a fondant is probably a better idea.
Better idea.
Now, obviously, we talked about those fillings, but when you look at something like this cake, which has beautiful flowers on top, I mean, you could do real ones or faux ones, whatever you decide. This is really spectacular. I mean, this is really going to stand out, isn't it?
It's a piece of art. These are both by Cupcakes and Countings, and I suppose this is one of Jen's, you know, her forte, this sugar craft. I mean, are they real flowers? You can't tell.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I thought they're actually...
They're made of icing.
I thought they were...
You're joking. I feel like I need to stick my finger in that.
Oh my God, they're incredible.
It is. You almost don't want to eat it because it looks so good.
I thought they were silk flowers.
I thought they were silk flowers as well.
That's all sugar craft, yeah. It takes a real artist.
That good. They are unbelievable.
Yeah, there is an art to making a cake.
There really is.
This type of a cake, anyway.
I'm a bit baffled. They're absolutely beautiful.
What do we have next? This is one of my favourites, actually.
This is also by Cupcakes and Countings. It's cute, isn't it? So this is the marble trend, which is it's been kind of huge in international weddings for the last year, and it's starting to creep into Ireland now. It's very, I suppose, influenced by interiors, because obviously we all love marble now. Bloggers' favourite, and I just think it's really classic. It's very chic.
What's nice as well is that if you wanted to go higher up, what I did is we had a faux base, you know, and then you kind of can layer up, and then the last two layers are the real ones, so you can make them as big as you want.
You can, absolutely,
Have fun with it, really.
Because it's not just for eating, like you say. It is a real centrepiece in the room at your wedding.
And Laura, as you mentioned as well, you can mix and match the flavours inside. So you can do the traditional fruit cake, you can have chocolate biscuit cake, and people tend to do that now anyway, because obviously everyone has different tastes at the wedding. I love that idea. Now, this is making a comeback, the traditional sponge cake, which I was really happy to see, because it's one of my favourite cakes.
I've been eating there.
Yeah,
it is.
Gorgeous, yeah.
So this one is actually a semi-naked cake. So the naked cake is your traditional Victoria sponge that's stacked up. It might be styled with fruit and flowers and that kind of thing. So this one, as you can see, the icing is sort of mostly covering it, but it's peeping out. So this is a very kind of 2016-17 variation of that.
Okay. And what actually is quite noticeable is you don't have the bride and grooms on top. That's kind of gone. It's a bit naff, should we say? Or is it not? Or do people still put them up on top?
It depends what you're going for. If you're having a really classic black and white or, you know, black tie kind of wedding, then you might still go for that. But I think the lesson is that anything goes, isn't it, really?
Anything goes.
Yeah.
And I think the thing about this sponge cake as well is that if you're having a family friend or a family member making your cake, if someone's kind enough to offer to make a cake, that might be a great idea, because, you know, it's sort of, as you say, semi-opaque, but at the same time manageable to do, where something like this is... Well, very difficult.
Absolutely. I think it all depends on style as well. Like, my cousin is getting married in August. Remember, I was telling you, and I know she's going for very, like, wild flowers, kind of very relaxed, kind of bespoke, pretty wedding. So I think she would more go for something like this rather than the ornate kind of... I suppose glamorous kind of cake. So, you know, it depends on what you're
very much personal taste.
It's for rustic weddings, of course.
That's true.
Exactly, yeah.
This is very decadent.
It is.
Total opposite of a rustic wedding.
And these are both from the same cake maker, would you believe? This is Primrose Lane Bakery, but this is one extreme to the next. So this is the kind of gold leaf trend that we're seeing a lot. Metallic cakes and anything gilded in general.
That's incredible. Have you seen anything like that before?
So what is it, gold cake frosting or something?
Yeah, it is edible,
this
I
part
promise
as
you.
well?
It is, yeah. So that's all cake, and these top two layers are just really heavily embellished. It looks like jewellery.
Can you actually actually eat this?
You can, yeah.
Right.
It does
Let's
look like
try.
jewellery.
Let's try.
It really does, but look how ornate it is, though, Lisa. Look at the time that would have gone into something like that. In terms of price points, are we talking anything goes? You might want a small wedding cake right up to something that could cost in the thousands, really.
It depends how many your guests are. Your cake maker will tell you how many kind of slices you need per your
What's
guest.
the basic average for a wedding cake,
You're
roughly?
probably talking about kind of €300 or €400 up to €800.
Okay.
Right, okay.
Yeah, depending on how many mouths to feed.
That's it. You can see
Moving
the
on to
detail and the work
opulence.
that goes into them, you know.
Now, you were saying this was similar to what you...
Well, just the flowers on the front. Yeah, I think they're very pretty and delicate. Yeah, traditional in terms of the tiers of it.
Yeah.
What's the tradition, actually? Is it 3 or 6? 3?
Layers?
Yes.
Yeah, I suppose 3.
3 is the
So this
layer.
is, you know, really over the top if you're having a big fairy tale wedding. Yeah.
I had 6.
Did you? You're still eating it? Yeah. Years later.
Oh God, we won't even go there. It
Tell
was
us through this.
beautiful, though.
It's sort of like a Disney princess theme almost. But again, with the embellishment, you can tell your cake maker to go full throttle on it or to hang back a bit.
Yeah, that's it. I
So
mean,
it
this
can be
one
quite
also
classic.
has sort of gold leaf on the front of it, and it has sugar craft, and it is fondant. So this encompasses a lot of trends, and it's a real showstopper. That's by Cookies.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah,
Gorgeous.
no, I mean, I love the whole idea of the cake. I think for me, that's one of the big, I suppose, grandioso moments, the reveal, I think, and the two of you. I mean, that's a picture you'll have forever. I still keep my grandmother's picture with my grandfather. Yeah, and we incorporated bits of ideas into the cake for my grandmother's cake that she got married in the late 40s. Yeah.
Really?
So I think it's a traditional piece as well. Now, I know back in the 40s, they certainly would have had these new kind of vibes that we have here. This is extremely glamorous. Is this an upside-down chandelier?
It's amazing, isn't it? It really goes with the cake.
Is it the GEODE cake or is this something
This is the
else?
GEODE, which is basically a crystal cake. And again, this is edible. So everything that's on there is edible. It's
Bar
like
the
rock
crystals,
candy.
obviously,
Yes, not this bit. And this, again, this is by Cookies. So this is being huge again internationally, and we're starting to see it in Irish weddings. So you'll probably see a lot more of these this year.
Really?
Amazing.
And actually, there's another couple of cakes down here that were hugely popular when I was getting married a few years ago, and I'm glad to see they're still here. Not everybody
are.
has a sweet tooth. The bride and groom may choose something completely different.
Absolutely.
And what a cheese board. Done
amazing.
magnificently.
My goodness.
This is a cheesecake.
They are. So these are from Sheraton's Cheesemongers, and depending on how many guests you have. So I think this one will feed about 40 to 80 people, and this one about 100 to 120 people. And I mean, it depends how much they like cheese, but a lot of people would much prefer this, of course, like you say, they're savoury.
But even if you wanted to do a smaller wedding cake and you wanted to have that as well on the side, because obviously there's also groom's cakes, which is quite popular at the moment as well. So you can have this for the groom and maybe something for yourself, you know.
Lots of cakes.
Lots of cakes to go around. Why not?
Final tips when choosing a cake if you're planning a wedding out there.
I just think anything goes, so just make sure it's just really true to your theme.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a lovely way to incorporate a theme if you have
Really
one
is,
as well.
yeah.
Laura, thanks so much for joining us today. We're just going to get stuck in now.
I have to say, there has to be something for us there, Laura.
There
We
is,
have
all
to
of
eat
them.
something. I can see those cakes over there.
Laura,
Thank you
thanks
so
a
much.
mil.
Thank you.
We're going to get stuck in now, but next week we're going to be continuing our wedding series and we're going to be looking at the biggest trends in bridal wear this year.